That water and sewage forensic audit has now been made public. It was tabled in the lower house last evening. Jimmy Swain tells us more.
The first area of concern highlighted by the chairman had to do with the Gladstone Road Waste Treatment Plant, a non-operational plant with a total spend of $18.3 million to date. Its original budget, $9.6 million.
At the outset, the tendering process was irregular. The contract, in a most inexplainable, and I say that with a wink, turn of events, was awarded to Nassau Island Development Company. NID's bid was given a score of 71.5, the lowest. The minimum accepted score was a 70. Despite protests, NID seemed to have had a guardian angel in the Ministry of Works, and NID was nonetheless awarded the contract.
But there was more to this story.
In June 2014, they were given yet another special concession and allowed to secure a bond that was 10% of the original contract value. Notwithstanding the recommendations from the then board, the management, consultants to terminate NID's contract and/or not to make any additional payments, countless board minutes and emails show that the recommendations were, quote, overruled, that there were, quote, external influences and manipulation, end quote, and they were able to evade termination. In the 9th March 2016 board meeting, it was stated that the board and management had been directed to, quote, seek a cost and completion strategy, end quote, and to, quote, continue the engagement of NID, end quote.
Gibson also said the report highlights questionable payments to NID.
On 25th April 2016, a questionable payment of $1 million was made to NID directly from the Ministry of Finance, despite objections from the then board, Water and Sewage Management, and the then Ministry of Works PS, Colin Higgs. All internal controls were circumvented. In June 2014, an $800,000 payment was advanced to NID, despite objections. In fact, following a meeting with Water and Sewage Management and NID reps, then Chairman Cox directed management to take an advance payment of $1.2 million.
Gibson said gross mismanagement and neglect were also unearthed over the Eleuthera naval base storage tanks. The intent, he explains, was to allow Water and Sewage to use the tanks to store water for residents. The project he cited as one never tendered or put to bid, instead awarded to Treasure Coast Development and Construction Company.
During that time, a whistleblower from TCC's joint venture partner alleged that improper and dangerous materials were used to line the tanks. Materials that could have caused injury and or death to the people of Eleuthera. Notwithstanding that, not only was the whistleblower twice deported, but the GM dismissed the allegations as, quote, convoluted and instructed the DGM to only review documentation from Mr. Lowe. As it stands, $730,000 has been spent, yet 3 of the 4 tanks remain inoperable, and TCC was terminated in early 2017. Astoundingly, despite TCC's delays and the allegations, TCC was paid an additional $245,000 even after the allegations of the whistleblower. Mr. Speaker, the report notes that Mr. Lowe, the principal in TCC, constantly bragged about his personal connections and a guardian angel he had at the Ministry of Works, the member for Cat Island.
The 50-page report with accompanying addendum of supporting exhibits of more than 100 pages highlights other concerns the forensic report discovered in the documents tabled in the House. Jimmy Swain, ZNS Network News.